So, it seems that the Times pulled one of their journalists from an interview that they were supposed to do with Rachel Maddow. So the Times was supposed to do an interview with Rachel Maddow, or one of their journalists, and their paper said no. And they said because MSNBC is too biased, and the Times is trying to be a straight down the middle, call it like they see it type of people. And so they said we can't appear on that show because you're too biased. You lean too left, you're not in the middle. So, and then others were saying, well, MSNBC saved the Times because the Times was going downhill, but we'll see. Is this a trend? Is this something that will continue, or will they cave? Because print media, while it is doing well now, because Donald Trump did help print media, because now we want more stories. We have to also come to the realization that time changes. In the middle of the bookstore, when I worked for Barnes & Noble at one point, and in the middle of the store was the customer service booth. You went up, we helped you find a book, or we helped you order a book, or, we would stock shelves and things like that. In the middle of a store now is a thing called Nook. That is where the digital books are. That's where you go and you can buy a digital book. You can buy digital papers. You can get a digital thing, the Nook thing. You can get one. And so things have changed. Bookstores are dying because people are doing more things online. Just like the post office is dying because of, email. Who sends letters anymore? So, as I've always said from the song, video killed the radio star. Things progress, things move on, things happen like that. I was going to do a reading once about is Yellow Cab dead from Uber and Lyft, just like Netflix killed Blockbuster. So, is this a trend, or will print media, specifically the Times, have to concede that they need these shows? Or do they? Maybe they don't, because mind you, that's where the journalism is happening, is in the newspapers. And so the TV host used the newspapers as sort of a launch pad to their stories. So let's see. Is this a trend, or will this go away? Because mind you, I did one reading about what's good about Donald Trump, and then I get a comment, why do you always say good things about Donald Trump? First of all, don't come on my page with all that mess. Second of all, I did it one time. That does not equivocate to always. 9 of Wands. Is this a trend, or will this go away? Because you can call her biased, because they I don't know if they specifically targeted Rachel Maddow, but they said we're not doing the interview with her because MSNBC is biased. So, uphill battle. This is weariness as well. As you can see, battle worn, because they are quite worse for wear. The Star. There's some positivity for the future, some hope right after the worse for wear. Because mind you, what you have to remember about the Nine of Wands is this person, like the Ace of Wands is a new action. The Two of Wands is the waiting. That's the waiting period. You know, with like I always say, the Ace of Wands is I want to open up a lemonade stand. The Two of Wands is I found a place I can put it. The Three of Wands is, because this is the Two of Wands is preparation. And the Three of Wands is, okay, now I got my materials, let's start building. The possibilities. You can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that. Four of Wands is it's open, here we go. Five of Wands is, you know, now we're bickering, now we're going back and forth, and I don't want to do this, and you should charge that much, and you shouldn't sell just lemonade. You should sell lemonade and peach lemonade, and you should do this, you should do that, you should do that. And then the Six of Wands is we have finally got a victory. Now we are pretty much past the bickering stage. We're the celebrated person. And so now you have the person that emerges ahead of the pack. They're the boss, they're the leader, they're the manager, they're the whatever. And now they have to defend themselves and their beliefs and their vision for the company that you started at the Ace of Wands. And so now you have the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is defending yourselves and your beliefs. The Eight of Wands is the communication. It's also quick energy. So you have to pounce on this thing. Say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this, 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 and this. I understand where you're coming from, but you need to understand what I'm trying to do. Then we arrive at the Nine. After all that rigmarole, now we arrive at the Nine. You can see why he's battle worn, because he just had to go through all that just to get to here. So, what I was saying when I said all that is you have to remember that the Nine of Wands is the project, but the nines are usually indicated. Let's see if I can't find you a different card. The indication is the Nine of Wands shows you that the wands are standing up. Like, we have completed the project. It was hell getting here, but it's up. Like, we are really tired. We are really exhausted. This has been some kind of journey, but look, they're up. And then the Ten of Wands is the hard work. That shows you the hard work. It shows you the burden of responsibility. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So that's the story of the Wands. So we are at the battle weary stage. Like, we went through all that to get to here. So there is some positivity for the future because we started out with a good foundation. They had a good relationship. I think personally, this is not just here. I think personally they're looking to give Torsten the mouth. If it's been working for you so far, then that's what you need to do. I understand you're trying to have journalistic integrity and only go to the shows that are down the middle. I don't really know. I mean, I guess there are shows that are just down the middle, but you're going to limit your audience if you don't capture this one as well. But, you know, that's just me. So back to this. Page of Cups. Page of Cups is usually like a creative venture or some sort of creative idea. This would be quite different. To limit your outreach. To say, I'm not going on the Rachels or the Lawrence O'Donnells, or I'm not going to these places as a journalist because you are not a journalist and you're not sort of even keeled. You're biased. You lean towards the left or you lean towards the right. So I'm not going to go talk to you. So this is a new plan of action. This is a new creative plan, something to limit, well, not limit, but to, I guess, preserve your journalistic integrity. But I don't know. Knight of Swords, this is rather quick because, mind you, that person was scheduled to do the interview and then didn't because the paper said no. So all of this is sort of being rushed ahead. And I think the Knight of Swords is not a good one to have right now. What you need more is the Knight of Pentacles, because that's more of the slow pace. The slow and steady wins the race. This is charging ahead because you think you have all the information. So I'm not going to Rachel tonight, or you're not going to be able to participate in her show because I think she's biased. And then you say, okay, fine. So I was on the way there, but I'll turn around and go back. And then Rachel and her staff hear about it, MSNBC hear about it, and all so forth and so forth and so forth. And then you think, oh, you think Rachel Maddow is just a show on TV. This is MSNBC. This is in corporate. They promote each other. So if you don't go to Rachel, you can't go to Ari. If you don't go to Ari, you can't go to Chris. If you can't go to Chris, you can't go to Morning Joe. So you limit your audience. All you can do now is CNN. And then hopefully you can find someone down the middle there. So I think you rushed ahead. Maybe you didn't have all of the answers, because mind you, one of these is not a horse. The other one is a donkey. So you thought you had everything. You thought you had everything you needed. You thought everything was fine. You had all the information. You're ready to go. And we will see how that works out. But I don't think that's a good thing. But that's just me being biased. Page of Swords. This is the disappointing news. Person doesn't even look happy. Could be just disappointing for them because of your creative venture, your new creative outlook. With the Page of Cups could be indicating that the Page of Swords is where the bad news is coming in. Not necessarily for you, but just for people who are involved with you. There's the structure with the Ten of Pentacles. This is your paper and your paper's legacy, and what you're trying to build. And I can't fault you for wanting to preserve journalistic integrity. The fear is the pushback from the world and the big picture and the completion and the whole thing. You do fear, though, that this will give you a pushback that you can't handle, but we'll see. This is not predictive. This is just in the fear. Your hopes, the Hermit, is that you can be the people who bring forth the light, searching the answers, bringing the truth. You want to be a paper. You want to be what papers used to be in your environment. Cooperation. So far, so good. With the Three of Cups. Behind the scenes, the Queen of Swords. I'm not sure who that is, but that could also be seen as a trait and not a person. So either loyal or vindictive. We shall see. Here, word of warning, the King of Swords. This is a person. We did a reading once where this person popped up for Rachel Maddow, because we were asking in the live stream about her, I think, leaving at some point or getting a raise or something like that. So we looked at her, and then this person came up, and may be a producer of the show, but you're going to get some pushback from them. Your word of solace is the Seven of Cups. You have options. So you're not completely without options, because remember, we got that cooperation card too. So you do have options. Your outcome, the Magician. What you need, you have. So you have the power to say no. Right now, you're still in a good place. So yeah, you'll do okay. You'll do fine. This is not the end of the world, because you don't want to appear on Rachel. Because the Magician says that the thing that you're trying to do, you have the power and the skills and the tools that you need to do it. So if you're trying to preserve your journalistic integrity by not appearing on biased shows, so far, you accomplished that. And so far, your business is not going downhill for it. But that King of Swords could change everything. But as of right now, you're doing all right.